Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why the body always tells the truth the mouth is trying to hide? Why someone can say they're not interested, yet their energy, their eyes, their very nervous system are leaking the exact opposite? Tonight, we're going to step beyond words and decode the hidden signals of attraction, those subtle, subconscious cues that speak louder than any confession. Because when you learn to read energy, you stop guessing and you start knowing. We've all felt it before, that invisible pull that comes from another human being before they ever speak a word. You step into a room, and without understanding why, your attention is drawn. There's something in the way they hold themselves, something about the space between words, something that isn't logical but is undeniable. This is the language of energy. It is the truth that exists beneath the surface of spoken language, and it's often far more accurate than anything someone might verbally express. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, generates an electromagnetic signature. This is not philosophy, it's science. Your brain produces electrical impulses, your heart radiates a magnetic field measurable several feet outside your body, and the two together create a frequency that people can feel. The human nervous system is exquisitely tuned to these vibrations. Long before your conscious mind labels someone as attractive, safe, dangerous, or interesting, your body has already registered it. When someone is drawn to you but consciously tries to suppress it, their words may say one thing, but their body is speaking another language altogether. This is because the conscious mind is like the tip of the iceberg. Only 5% of our total mind is truly aware of what it is doing. The subconscious and unconscious mind, however, control the rest. They dictate posture, breath patterns, pupil dilation, the direction of feet and torso, even the micro-expressions that last less than half a second. None of these signals are random. They are broadcasts from the nervous system, transmitting the truth even when the conscious mind is attempting to conceal it. Think about it. You cannot tell your pupils to dilate at will. You cannot command your heart rate to increase every time someone stands near you. You cannot deliberately instruct your cheeks to flush or your voice to soften in the same way your subconscious does. These are automatic processes, and so when you notice them, when you sense the slight lean toward you in conversation, the unconscious mirroring of your movements, or the pause in breath when you make eye contact, you are witnessing the body telling the truth. Now, why does this matter? Because most people in this world are taught to hide how they feel. From a young age, we learn to protect ourselves, to withhold vulnerability, to avoid appearing too eager. The conscious mind becomes skilled at erecting masks, but the body does not lie. The body is a feedback loop of the mind and the heart, and no matter how carefully someone curates their words, their physiology will reveal what is really happening beneath the surface. This is why energy speaks louder than words. Imagine two radios tuned to different stations. On one channel you hear the words indifference, casualness, neutrality. On the other channel, the body, the frequency, the energy, you hear the truth, interest, attraction, magnetism. Which channel will you trust? The one created by a trained protective mask, or the one generated by millions of years of evolutionary biology designed to ensure survival, reproduction, and connection? When the body is in the presence of someone it desires, its state changes. The sympathetic nervous system activates just slightly, producing micro-bursts of adrenaline. Breathing shifts subtly. The voice might catch for just a second before stabilizing. These physiological reactions cannot be disguised for long, because the autonomic nervous system is designed to respond instantly to emotional stimuli, and your own nervous system is designed to detect it. That's why you sense something before you can logically explain it. If you pay close attention, you'll notice these micro-signals everywhere. The direction of the feet. Do they point toward you even when the torso is turned slightly away? The angle of the shoulders. Are they leaning closer, shrinking the distance between you even in a crowded space? The eyes. Do they hold contact just a moment too long, only to break it suddenly, pretending they weren't looking? The voice. Does it shift in pitch, soften, or grow brighter when you enter the conversation? These are the silent betrayals of energy. Now, here's where most people miss the point. They assume that words are the ultimate truth, but words are the least reliable indicator of authenticity because they can be rehearsed, memorized, and manipulated. Energy cannot be faked. The nervous system cannot be tricked into neutrality when attraction is present. It will always leak signals through the body. So if you really want to understand the unspoken dynamics of connection, you must learn to trust the language of energy more than the performance of language. Think of the body as a tuning fork. Strike it with a certain frequency, and it will vibrate in resonance. When two people come into close proximity, and there is genuine attraction, their nervous systems resonate. One person's pupils dilate, the other unconsciously mirrors it. One person leans in, the other follows without realizing it. One person laughs, and the other's brain lights up with mirror neurons, creating the impulse to laugh too. This resonance is not contrived, it is nature's design. It is the deeper communication that precedes thought. And here is the most powerful realization: your own perception is the receiver. You are constantly scanning the field of information around you, and your subconscious is picking up more data than your conscious mind can process. That gut feeling you have, the subtle sense that someone is drawn to you even while pretending otherwise, is not imagination. It is your body's intelligence reading the signals, interpreting the frequency, and presenting it to you as a feeling. So, what does this mean for you? It means you don't need to chase external validation or overanalyze words that may be carefully chosen to conceal. Instead, you train your awareness to feel what is true. You step out of the noise of the mind and into the wisdom of the body. You begin to notice the breath, the eyes, the micro movements. You attune yourself to the subtle frequency that is always present beneath the surface. Once you do, you start to realize that attraction, interest, and connection are not communicated in grand declarations or obvious confessions. They are communicated in micro gestures, subconscious leaks, and energetic resonance. And when you align yourself with this awareness, you see what most people miss: the silent symphony of signals that reveal the truth hidden beneath appearances. The human mind is a vast, layered system. Most people think they are living their lives consciously, choosing every word, every movement, every decision with awareness. But neuroscience reveals a different truth. Only about 5% of our day is lived consciously. The other 95% is governed by subconscious programs, patterns of behavior, and emotional memories stored deep within the nervous system. That means the majority of what we express is not under deliberate control. It is automatic, reflexive, and deeply revealing. When attraction exists but is being hidden, the subconscious mind becomes the stage where the truth leaks through. No matter how carefully someone constructs sentences or how convincingly they perform indifference, the subconscious will broadcast a different message. It is in the slight pause before speaking, in the way the eyes seek contact only to dart away, in the tone that unexpectedly softens when you're near. These signals are not deliberate, they are subconscious expressions. They are truth bypassing the conscious editor. Think of the conscious mind as a spotlight on a dark stage. It can only illuminate a small portion at any given time. The subconscious, however, is the vast backstage of the theater. The ropes, the pulleys, the hidden machinery moving everything in silence. And every so often, the ropes creak, the machinery shows, the spotlight flickers. That is what happens when attraction is present but hidden. The subconscious leaks a signal the conscious mind didn't intend to reveal. Consider how body language emerges. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, "Today, when I feel nervous, I will bite my lip." Nobody consciously plans to blush at the sound of someone's voice. These behaviors are not conscious strategies. They are subconscious reactions, ancient programs designed to reveal inner states of being. And once you understand that, you begin to see every flicker of expression, every involuntary movement, as a message from the deeper layers of the mind. The subconscious is also bound to emotion. Every powerful emotional experience is etched into the nervous system and becomes a stored memory. When someone is drawn to another person, the body reacts with an emotional charge: adrenaline, dopamine, oxytocin. The subconscious takes over and expresses that charge without permission from the conscious mind. That's why a voice trembles, why a gaze lingers, why breathing patterns shift. It's not planned, it's a program playing out beneath awareness. Now, here's the paradox. The conscious mind may be actively trying to conceal attraction, running stories like, "Don't let it show," "Play it cool," or "Stay in control." But the subconscious doesn't operate on those instructions. It runs on emotional truth. And so even in the presence of resistance, the subconscious slips through in gestures, timing, or tone. It is as though two minds are speaking at once, one presenting a mask, the other revealing the reality. This is where deep perception comes into play. If you rely only on the words being spoken, you will hear the mask. If you attune yourself to the subtle expressions of the subconscious, you will hear the truth. Imagine a radio with two frequencies playing simultaneously. One is louder, full of scripted words and deliberate performances. The other is softer but more authentic, a frequency of small signals and involuntary cues. If you train your awareness to tune in, you'll hear the softer station. You'll notice the slip in the mask. You'll feel the energy beneath the performance. Consider how the eyes operate. The subconscious mind drives eye contact. You cannot consciously control every micro movement of your pupils or the exact timing of when your gaze lands and retreats. The subconscious does it for you. So when eyes keep returning again and again, despite conscious efforts to look away, it's a broadcast from the deeper mind. The same is true with voice modulation. You can choose your words, but not always the pitch, the warmth, or the subtle rhythm. The subconscious influences those details, leaking truth even while the conscious mind is trying to conceal it. What's even more powerful is that your nervous system is wired to detect these leaks. Long before language existed, humans survived by reading the micro signals of others. Threat, safety, trust, desire, all communicated without words. Your brain is still doing that today. Mirror neurons in your brain light up when you watch someone's subtle expressions. Your body feels their state of being even before your conscious mind interprets it. That's why you sometimes get the sense that someone is invested in you even if their words suggest otherwise. You are reading their subconscious, whether you realize it or not. Think about the moments when silence carries more weight than speech, a pause that lasts a beat too long, a smile that appears quickly and then vanishes as though it wasn't supposed to be there. A breath that catches unexpectedly. These are not meaningless accidents. They are evidence of the subconscious overriding the conscious script. They are signals escaping the gatekeeper of the conscious mind. This interplay between conscious suppression and subconscious leakage creates a kind of dance. On the surface, the performance says, "I'm neutral. I'm not invested." But beneath it, the subconscious keeps sending signals, the quick glance, the softened tone, the subtle mimicry of your posture. Each signal is a fragment of truth, like light leaking through cracks in a wall. And when enough fragments shine through, you begin to see the full picture. What's remarkable is that the subconscious is more powerful than the conscious. The conscious mind is effortful. It tires, it slips, it struggles to maintain consistency. The subconscious never rests. It runs the body, processes millions of bits of information every second, and operates with flawless efficiency. So while the conscious mind may try to hold up the mask, the subconscious will continue leaking signals because its influence on physiology and expression is simply stronger. When you learn to observe without judgment, you start seeing these patterns everywhere. The words may be neutral, but the body betrays interest. The tone may sound casual, but the timing reveals investment. The story may be one of indifference, but the subconscious is telling another story entirely, one of attention, one of emotional charge, one of resonance. And so, attraction that is hidden is never truly hidden. The subconscious will not allow it. It will reveal itself in gestures, in rhythms, in energies that cannot be rehearsed or faked. To those who are aware, these signals are unmistakable. They are the language of the deeper mind, the language that bypasses pretense, the language that reveals what is real beneath the surface of appearances. Attention is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Wherever you place your attention, you place your energy. This is not simply a metaphor, it is measurable. Neuroscience shows that focused attention changes brain chemistry, reorganizes neural networks, and amplifies the electrical signals in the brain. Quantum physics suggests that the very act of observation alters the behavior of particles. So when attention is repeatedly directed toward another person, no matter how subtly energy is being transferred, a connection is being formed. Whether acknowledged openly or hidden beneath the surface, every time someone glances in your direction, every time they listen more closely when you speak, every time they notice details about you that others overlook, they are sending energy toward you. Even if they try to disguise it, the act of attention cannot be neutral. It carries weight, it creates resonance, because attention is investment, and investment generates a shared field of possibility. Think of it this way: when you water a plant, the plant grows. When you ignore it, it withers. Attention works the same way. Whatever you give energy to expands in your awareness. If a person directs their focus toward you consistently, by asking questions, by noticing small changes in your behavior, by circling back into your orbit, it is evidence that energy is flowing, and energy always leaves a trace. The mind cannot sustain focus on something without emotional involvement. Attention without emotion is shallow, it quickly drifts away. But when attention continues returning to the same point, it's because an emotional charge is attached. That charge might be curiosity, admiration, desire, or fascination. But whatever form it takes, it reveals investment. So even if someone consciously pretends indifference, their repeated attention tells the deeper story. This is where the quantum perspective becomes illuminating. In the quantum field, possibilities exist in an infinite state of potential until observed. Observation collapses potential into reality. In the same way, when someone's awareness continually collapses into the possibility of you, they are shaping a reality that includes you. Their focus is not random, it is the creation of an energetic link. You can feel it when this happens. The room may be full of people, but you sense eyes on you. Words may be spoken casually, yet you notice how questions are angled specifically toward you. Even in silence, you feel attention resting on you, and that sensation is not imagined. It is your nervous system perceiving energy directed your way. The human body is exquisitely sensitive to being observed. Studies show that even when someone stares from behind, the brain and skin register the sensation. That's the power of attention. It creates an energetic exchange that both parties feel. What's fascinating is how this attention often disguises itself. It may appear as curiosity about insignificant details, or playful teasing meant to deflect seriousness, or quick glances that vanish the moment you look back. But the disguise does not change the underlying truth. Attention is energy, and energy cannot be faked. You know when someone is investing in you, even if they are trying to bury it beneath casual gestures. The subconscious mind reveals this through patterns. Someone who is not invested drifts in and out of interaction without consistency. But when focus keeps circling back, when questions are followed by more questions, when presence lingers beyond what necessity demands, it is no longer casual, it is energy creating coherence. It is attention magnetized by attraction, and here's the deeper point: the field between two people changes when attention is exchanged. The nervous systems begin to attune to each other. Brain waves can synchronize, heart rhythms can align, breathing can subtly match. This is not fantasy, it is documented science. Two people in resonance literally create a shared physiological and energetic field. So when someone pretends indifference but continues to direct attention toward you, they are unconsciously weaving themselves into your field. Their energy is already participating, no matter what words attempt to conceal. Think about how much power attention holds in your own life. Whatever you focus on expands. When you dwell on stress, you generate more stress. When you place attention on gratitude, you amplify feelings of abundance. The same principle applies to relationships. Where attention flows, energy grows. If focus continually flows toward you, then regardless of surface appearances, something is growing beneath the soil. Now consider the challenge of pretending indifference while the subconscious keeps returning. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can push it down for a while, but the pressure builds and eventually it slips through the hands and bursts to the surface. That's what happens when someone continually directs focus while trying to hide their investment. The energy builds. the connection strengthens, and no matter how carefully concealed, the truth begins to surface through the smallest cracks. The eyes are often the clearest evidence. Neuroscience has shown that people look longer and more frequently at what they desire. Micro glances happen in fractions of a second, but they add up. They reveal where attention truly lives. You can't force the eyes not to return. They are guided by subconscious attraction. So even if the conscious mind insists on neutrality, the eyes betray the truth again and again. But it's not just the eyes. It's the timing of interactions, the repeated coincidences of being in the same place, the pattern of re-engagement after disengagement. Attention leaks through in the rhythm of connection, and each time it does, energy is exchanged. You feel it, because the field between you expands with every act of focus. When you realize this, you stop doubting your intuition. You stop second-guessing the subtle signals you've felt. The repeated focus is not random, it is energy revealing itself in patterns. The words may say one thing, but the attention says another. And since energy is the more fundamental truth, it is the attention that deserves trust. This is why awareness is such a powerful tool. When you step out of overthinking and into observation, you begin to notice where attention flows. You recognize that hidden beneath the mask of casualness is a steady stream of focus. You see the investment for what it is, energy reaching out, testing the field, weaving connection without words. And so, attention becomes the truest signal of interest. Because while words can be chosen, attention cannot be sustained without reason. It is the compass of the subconscious, the proof of attraction, the evidence of energy flowing beneath appearances. Wherever attention goes, energy follows, and in that flow, the reality of connection begins to take form. Resistance is one of the most misunderstood signals in human behavior. On the surface, it looks like disinterest, avoidance, or even rejection. But beneath the surface, resistance often hides something else entirely. It is not the absence of attraction, it is the struggle against it. When someone is truly indifferent, there is no energy. Indifference is quiet. It has no tension, no conflict, no emotional charge. But resistance carries weight. It has energy behind it. And where there is energy, there is meaning. Imagine trying to suppress laughter in a serious moment. The more you fight it, the more pressure builds inside you. The body trembles, the shoulders shake, the laughter becomes harder to contain. That's the essence of resistance. The very act of suppressing an impulse confirms the presence of the impulse. If there were no attraction, there would be nothing to resist. So resistance itself is evidence. The subconscious mind does not enjoy conflict. When it feels something strongly, it wants to express it. But the conscious mind, conditioned by fear of rejection, fear of vulnerability, or fear of losing control, steps in and tries to hold it back. This tug of war between subconscious desire and conscious restraint creates behaviors that seem confusing on the surface, but are entirely predictable when understood. A cool tone paired with a quick glance, a dismissive comment followed by an unexpected laugh, a moment of distance that always collapses back into closeness. These contradictions are the fingerprints of resistance. To recognize this, you must learn to look beyond the mask. Words may insist, "I don't care," but the body leans closer. Behavior may suggest detachment, but the eyes keep searching for your reaction. The conscious performance says one thing, the subconscious energy says another, and the friction between them is not emptiness, it is attraction in disguise. Why does resistance happen at all? At its root, resistance is fear. Fear of being exposed, fear of being vulnerable, fear of losing the upper hand. We live in a world where vulnerability is often misinterpreted as weakness, so people protect themselves by building walls. But what is behind a wall? Something valuable. We don't build barriers around things that don't matter. Resistance is the wall, and the attraction is the treasure it conceals. From a physiological perspective, suppression requires energy. The nervous system must actively engage to hold back what wants to be expressed. Muscles tense, posture stiffens, expressions become controlled. This expenditure of energy is proof of emotional charge. If nothing were there, no energy would be needed. Suppression itself is a signal. It tells you that underneath the appearance of control, something real is happening. Think of a coiled spring. The more it is compressed, the more energy it holds. On the surface, it looks still, but inside it is building tension. Resistance works the same way. The more someone tries to hold down their feelings, the stronger the charge becomes beneath the surface, and eventually the pressure leaks out in micro signals, the quick glance, the softened tone, the unguarded smile. The body cannot maintain suppression forever. Energy demands expression. This is why resistance should not be mistaken for rejection. Rejection is final, neutral, empty. Resistance is alive, tense, full of suppressed energy. One closes the door, the other keeps the door closed with shaking hands. And those trembling hands reveal the truth. They reveal that the door matters. When you start to understand this, you stop being misled by appearances. You realize that resistance is not the absence of attraction, but often the strongest evidence of it. The pushback is the proof. The hesitation is the signal. The denial is the confirmation, because if it weren't real, there would be no need to hide it. At the quantum level, suppression doesn't erase energy, it amplifies it. When you try not to think of something, the thought becomes stronger. When you try to avoid a feeling, the feeling grows louder. This is the paradox of resistance. The very act of trying not to reveal attraction feeds the attraction itself. The more the conscious mind pushes it down, the more the subconscious insists on leaking it out. That's why you see those little contradictions, those tiny betrayals of truth. The field cannot lie. You can feel this in the energetic exchange between two people. Resistance has a distinct vibration. It's tense, charged, almost electric. Silence feels heavier. Words carry more weight. Interactions feel like they're walking a line between closeness and distance. That tension is energy. It's not neutral. It's alive. And your nervous system picks up on it. You feel it in your gut, in the quickened rhythm of your heart, in the sensation that something unsaid is vibrating beneath the moment. Resistance is also a mirror of desire. The stronger the attraction, the stronger the impulse to control it. Someone who feels a mild interest has no need to hide it. It doesn't carry risk. But someone who feels deeply invested may mask it with indifference, because exposure feels dangerous. The depth of suppression often reflects the depth of feeling. That's why the signals you read beneath resistance are often more significant than the signals of openness. Openness can be casual, suppression is intentional, and intention comes from investment. When you learn to see resistance in this light, you begin to recognize its true message. A quick dismissal might not be disinterest, it may be protection. A playful argument may not be conflict, it may be a safe way to release suppressed energy. A sudden withdrawal may not be abandonment, it may be an attempt to regain control over feelings that feel overwhelming. In every case, the resistance itself confirms that something deeper exists. And here's the paradox that makes resistance so revealing: indifference is invisible. True disinterest has no emotional charge, no tension, no contradiction. It simply doesn't show up, it drifts away quietly. But resistance shows up strongly. It has energy, it has weight, it leaves traces everywhere. And those traces are the proof that beneath the mask, there is something worth protecting. So the next time you sense that pushback, that contradiction, that mask of neutrality paired with a surge of energy, recognize it for what it is. Resistance is not emptiness. It is attraction trying to hide. It is truth trying to stay concealed. And it is energy proving itself through the very effort to suppress it. So what have we discovered together? That energy speaks louder than words, that the subconscious mind leaks the truth, no matter how carefully it's hidden, that attention is never random, but always an investment. And that resistance itself is not rejection, it's attraction in disguise. When you step beyond appearances and tune into the deeper signals, you begin to see what most people miss. You stop doubting yourself because you understand that the body, the mind, and the field of energy are always revealing the reality beneath the mask. And the moment you learn to read that language, life changes. You stop chasing validation. You stop being confused by mixed signals. Instead, you trust your awareness, you trust the energy, and in doing so, you awaken a power in yourself, the power to know, without being told, when connection is real.